everyone, welcome to the beginning of a new series. This is the page we are going to be doing, and we are going to do one flower per day. Some are larger than others, so the videos won't necessarily be a consistent length, but I'll just do what happens really. This is a page from Summer Nights by Hanna Karlzon. It's a great page for videos because we've got all these separate pictures. I'm just going to find some paper to pop behind. Oh, sorry, my mouth got a bit close to the microphone then. But you can certainly colour along using any flower that you have that you want to colour. I know for a fact that this one, which is where we're going to start, it looks very similar to a lot of the flowers, or some flowers that I've seen Johanna Basford draw, for example. So you may find one of hers not this large. This is a rather large one, which I think is quite useful for a sort of video. Now, I picked my Polychromos pencils, haven't used them for a while, and I'm just going to start colouring and then chatter on. If you haven't got these pencils, I do have some comparison swatch charts. I'm starting with the blue violet. I'm going to do the bottom half of each petal. I'm going to show you one. So this one here, so dark in the bottom, so layer, and then a bit lighter towards the top, and then leave a bit. Okay, and that wasn't a particularly good one. I'm going to try again. So layer it down here, and then less layers towards the top, just fading off. I'm going to do that on every petal, exactly the same. So as I was saying, if you don't have these pencils, you can colour along with any set. You can use a similar colour, a completely different colour, it really matters not. I do have some comparison swatch charts, rather a lot actually, in my Ko-fi shop. So if you're looking for something, if you've got a pencil set you want to use, you want to find the equivalent colours, then those should hopefully help you. I've just finished making one today actually, which I'll put up tomorrow. Because I'm recording this in advance, it'll already be there. It isn't actually for Polychromos, it's a bit useless even mentioning it, but I keep putting them up. As I think of one, or as someone requests one, I put them up there. Now, most things in my Ko-fi shop are free. I put a couple of books in there which aren't, just because they take a little bit more effort, and yeah, that's the reasoning really. They take more effort to do, and yeah, so I put a little bit of a fee on those, but everything else is free. And of course, some people very generously make a donation when they grab something, and some people don't. And either way, if you could follow me, if you pick up a free one, that's absolutely fine. They're there for free. If you can't, if you don't want to donate, can't afford, I quite understand. We're living in times when it's tough. It's tough out there, and you probably want to spend your free money on pencils and books, and I do not blame you. Well, free money, I mean, you know, any money you have hanging around, as we all have hanging around. Anyway, but if as a little favour, I could ask you if you can make sure you sort of follow or like me on all my socials. That just helps. It just takes a few minutes, costs you nothing, and does me a little favour. So that would be much appreciated in return. But if you've already done that, then thank you, and just grab away. Grab all the freebies you can. There's over 80, I think, freebies in there now, so rather a lot to choose from. In fact, a lot to litter your hard drive with. If you're a hoarder, you've probably got them all cluttering up the place thinking, why on earth have I got all these? Anyway, anyway, hopefully they're useful. So that's good. So I've really been looking forward to sitting down and colouring today. I've been making a swatch chart, as I said, a comparison chart, but I've also been having to deal with making various phone calls and dealing with other bits and pieces. And it's like, ugh, bit stressed, to be honest, about something which I think will resolve itself soon. I'm just looking forwards, really. I know at the moment things are a bit slow. It's going to sort itself out and it'll be fine, but it's rather nice to be able to just come here and colour and just concentrate on the colouring and not thinking about all that stuff. You know, stuff. We all have stuff going on at times, and it's been a bit tricky, but as I say, I think it will resolve itself fairly soon. Just keeping positive as you do. And what I tend to do in times of stress is I put my head down and I work. It's what I did when in lockdown. I wasn't stressed for myself. I'm just trying to decide what colour to do the top of these. Now, I'm going to talk you through my choice process, actually. You could grab a very light, the lightest purple in this set is the violet, and then just taper it off to a light point. Could do that. Could take something, whoops, a little bit more pinkish, like the manganese violet, my favourite, and then start that at the top and fade towards the middle, so you've got a blended bluish to pinkish. You could take a light magenta and make the tips pink, or even another shade of pink. What shall I do? I am going to use the manganese violet. That's what I'm in the mood for, and I shall show you how I'm going to do it. I'm going to sharpen it. Here we go. So manganese violet. It's quite dark today. It's very cloudy. Looks like it's about to fall with rain. I haven't been out. So for this one, I'm going to do what I did in reverse. So I'm going to put my most intense colour on the tip and then fade it down towards the base, and then the colours should just magically blend together because the areas are quite small and I'm putting it on quite intensely. It should be fairly easy to blend it up. It's not very intense really, the tip, particularly in the camera. It doesn't really show up, but as I say, the light's a bit off today. Although earlier the sun was all over the desk, so that wasn't very useful, but I was doing other things then. I'll just get my swatch card done. It's taken me a day. Yeah, I'm a bit tired as well. It's not helping and distracted, but it was quite a toughie. It was, I tell you, you might be wondering, it was a Castle Art Soft Touch and Prismacolor comparison chart. So someone wanted to know what the equivalent Prismas were to Castle Art's 120. So I had to swatch out the 120, then find the closest matches with Prismas. Some of them a bit rubbish, but you know, you just can't always get a close match. But I just did the best I could. And then once I found it, type out the chart and then print it off, start swatching it, notice there's a spelling mistake, start again. Yeah, it was a bit like that. Ugh. I got there eventually though. And I think it was okay. Although my son looked at it and went, that one is in the wrong order. I was like, it sort of is, but yeah. I know why you're saying that, but anyway, it was what it was and it's done. And what I always do with or I try to do, is to include a copy of the Excel or Word file that I've used to create the chart originally, and then if you don't like the order, you can switch it around yourself if you have the software. So it's sort of editable. It's a good word, isn't it? I always think that's quite useful because I'm not, I mean, I don't want to say, oh, it's my chart, you can't change it, you know, because it's more useful for you if you can change it, but also it's not an original idea, so I don't think I can lay any claim on it. All I do is just put them in the order that I think is nice, but you may not agree at all. So I usually try and go yellow, orange, red, pink, purple, blue, green, turquoisey, then green, then sort of green, turquoise greens through to mid greens through to olive greens through to browns, and then greys and black. But the Polychromos pencils, for example, have your Caput Mortems, your Indian Reds, your green greys, your Naples yellows and things, and they don't really always fit in the right place. So, you know, it isn't always that easy. So here we are with our flower. Now, for me, each little petal isn't well enough defined from the next. So I am going to try and work on that now a little bit. I'm going to grab my Paynes grey and sharpen it. My Paynes grey is quite small. Now this step is not necessary. You might just like this colour, it's fine. This is Paynes grey, you can't even see it. And what I'm going to do is think about where the petals might be more shadowed. So underneath here, on these initial ones, where they overlap as well. There's a bit of overlap here. What's the time? Yeah, my husband is coming home this afternoon. He's going to work from home because he needs to do a few things that he can't do at work at the same time. And I need to make sure that I'm not in the middle of recording as he walks through the door and makes a lot of noise. Now, I don't know if all men are noisy. He's very noisy. He's just, his presence is noisy. It's quite funny. He's incapable of being quiet. Hopefully you can see this side looks a little bit less flat than this side. That's the effect I'm trying to go for anyway, to make it look like we can see like the shadows between the petals, where they're not in a sort of tight ball, but there's a bit of shadow between each one. But if you prefer to have them just sitting flat, then there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. This is your piece of work. There you go. It's not making a great deal of difference to me. In the sorry, we're not really very straight or central, are we? There we go. In the camera, it actually just looks like it's darker and a bit dirty. So it might not be giving the effect that I'm looking for. Sorry, my hand's going to be making it really blurred now, but there's not much I can do. Yeah. So yeah, he's coming home. He's got to sort some stuff out. But anyway, it's all good. Yeah, yesterday I had a nice walk along the canal. I had to go to town and post something, and it sort of forced me out. I was looking out for the otter. Actually, the day before I also went for a canal walk, and there were a lot of people with cameras saying they'd spotted the otter in the morning. The otter. I've missed that one, haven't I? Hang on, let's just grab the manganese. And they come back with their camera, but she disappeared. We know the one near us is a she because she's got 2 cubs. I want to see them. I really want to see them, but I haven't seen them. I've seen her, but not the babies. That problem is when there's lots of people out and about, she hears them. She keeps her babies safe. Right. Now when I do a purpley pinky flower, I tend to do a bluey greeny leaf. I think it works very nicely with it. It isn't necessarily how nature intended, but you know, it just feels for me to be the right choice. So I'm going to start with the, not that one, with the dark phthalo green for my leaves, and I'm going to go over the whole leaf with a light layer. So don't press too hard. This paper is, well, I guess it depends whether you've got this version of the book, because something that some people don't realise is that when a book is printed in a different country, the paper is very different to when it's printed in another country, possibly. They don't use the same paper. They've got a different publisher, different printing place, everything else. So if you're looking at the way the pencil lays down in my book, it may be different to how it's going to lay down in your book. And that can be slightly annoying, but as long as you're aware, I think it's okay. So there's our initial layer. What I want to do is try to make this vein in the leaf look like it's standing up a little bit. Now to do that we need to put some shadow either side of it, and then it will look slightly raised. Okay, so I'm going to use a slightly darker colour now. Whoops, if it doesn't want to roll away. This is the hooker's green. it's a little bit less bluey, but I rather like it. It's nice and dark. And I'm just going to run it along the edge of here. Can you see? Along the edge of the vein. And then just fade it out a tad. So it sort of blends into the other green a little bit. And do the same on the other side. I never know if putting my arm this way works. Hopefully like that. And then we're going to continue the same thing with all of them. And that should... Now this isn't our final colour. Because it's quite a small, simple flower, I might fiddle around a bit. Although, because this is a morning series, they should be shorter videos. I tend to do a shorter one in the morning, but I'll just see how it goes. I'm not going to rush. I need to slow and chill, so that's what I'm going to do with you. It's nice of you to join me. Knowing that you're watching helps me a lot. That I need to stay chilled, but I do feel chilled now. It's nice. As it's like I sort of, when I sort of enter this room or just get ready for a video, my mindset changes and I just have to slow, and it's rather good. Now I'm just sharpening up the light phthalo green because I want the vein parts to be a little bit more vibrant. I think if I add some light phthalo green, it will make them show up a little bit more. What I'm going to do though is put more on the edges. Leave a little bit in the middle, a bit lighter. I don't know why. I think it might give it some bit more interest. You might want to just go over the whole thing. It's fine. I don't know if you can really tell anyway. Now, I'm still not happy with how the leaves, look. Like the edges are quite pale, but I don't want to use that phthalo green again. I might use the emerald, it's quite a nice green, to just go over again, over the, not the veins, but the rest of the leaf. This should lighten and brighten, and I'm filling any little gaps that I've left, because I don't like this sort of white page here. There's nothing wrong with it, but it's not what I was looking for in this picture, so I'm just going to go over it. Oh, it sounds like husband is back. I can hear, maybe not. Problem is the children are here, so I say children. My grown-up children are here on their holiday, so I don't know if it's them making the noise. Anyway. Now this is sort of made that shadowing near here not look so defined, but that's okay because we can define it again in a minute. So I'm going to use that oops, my pencils are jumping everywhere. I'm going to use that Paynes grey again. There it is. Sorry, it was all blurred, and just run it along the edge of the veins. You can go on top of the black a little bit, but I think going just a little bit to the side is quite helpful. I might do a little bit near the centre of near here as well. See how Hannah's drawn these little dots, indicating that there might be some sort of shade, shadow, something like that. So I might do that. I'm just going to really emphasise that vein there. And the same on this one. Bit here. You can just keep building up the layers of colour until it feels right for you. There we go. Now remember, when you're doing any picture, even if it's a small one like this, to occasionally sit back and look at it from a distance. You know, artwork isn't normally designed to be looked at with your nose on the page. You know, you're supposed to sit back and look at it, so that is worth doing that. I'm just going to go back to my emerald green, because I've just seen a few bits that I've missed, like the very edge of here, because I sat back, like I said, and I looked and I saw that there was some white paper showing there where I hadn't gone all the way to the edge. I'm probably now going out of the lines instead, you know, but that's okay. So there we are. I think I'm going to finish there. I don't think there's any more fiddling to do. Now you can always, if you wish, make your petals a little bit darker still at the base by doing another layer of your blue violet or a bit of mauve or delft blue, something like that. You can also go over the tips again if you want with maybe the light magenta, something like that, to really mix and muddle it up a lot. But I am happy with how it looks, so I am just going to leave it like that. I think that is absolutely fine, and we're going to do a different colour, different flower, but we're going to stick with Polychromos on this page. I think it is simpler, both for myself when I'm editing and remembering what I'm doing, but also for you perhaps to always use the same pencil set for the whole series, so that's what I will be doing. But thank you very much for watching. I hope that you have a really lovely day and happy colouring.